Hey there, fellow knitters. It's the first Sunday in June, and you know what that means. It's time for this month's Horoscope for Knitters. I'm Katie Rempe, designer of Light from Lantern Knitting Patterns and the host of the Knit-a-Spell podcast, which just wrapped up its season finale this past week. I can't even believe that the time has gone by so quickly, as it always seems to do. In this season of Knit-a-Spell, we started by casting on spells, and then we are ending by binding off with charms. If you're looking for something to watch over the weekend, I highly recommend tuning into both of those episodes or indulging yourself in watching the whole season right here on YouTube. This month, I'm featuring a very special deck from my collection. I didn't even realize how special and maybe rare it is at this point because I invested in this deck maybe 10 or so years ago when it was a Kickstarter, and it was all from a whim based on a book that I had just recently read. I had just finished reading The Night Circus, and if you have read that book, please let me know if you agree. I was really inspired to find a tarot deck that was reminiscent of what was used by the main character. So in my search, I came across what was currently being kickstarted and is known as the Lost Code of the Tarot. The art on this deck was exactly what I was looking for. Something old-timey feeling because I realized it was pulling from old art. I used to call this the weird deck because when I first got it, I really was pretty new to tarot and still in the read the pamphlet phase. And so when this one showed up and not only did not have a pamphlet, but instead had a book of shadows with so much more information, none of which was actually telling me what the cards meant, it was very overwhelming. And so while I really appreciated the artwork, I didn't really use it right away because I was so lost on all the meanings of the cards. And you'll see why when I'm pulling them soon, that it takes a minute, even now, to figure out which cards are which. I actually really like this deck now that I know what the cards are because it does force me to think about it a little bit more instead of just going off of those initial hits that I might get from cards and arts that I'm more familiar with. This is also a Mercedes deck, which I had no idea what the heck that was, and so when some of the artwork was just like 7 circles, I thought, I don't know what this means. How do I read this? So I probably wouldn't recommend this deck as the beginner like it was for me. However, if you end up getting more into tarot over time, it comes back into your life and you're like, oh, it's a brand new friend. I won't go into the entire history of the deck, but I did not really realize at the time that this was all based on finding a codex and a lost deck of cards that then inspired this whole deck. So if you are interested in reading more about the story, I'll link everything below. I do believe there was even like a YouTube documentary that they did about all of this, so it is very interesting. And if you happen to have this deck in your collection, please leave me a comment, or if it's been in your wish list, please let me know because I've never run into anyone else who even knew about it and I would like to know your feedback. I also didn't realize until today that this deck is not being produced anymore, which I don't usually like to feature decks like that because I know people sometimes want them after seeing them, and trust me, if you want to invest in this one at this point, it's pretty spendy, so I was very fortunate to end up coming across it when I did. Now that we know a little bit more about the deck we're going to be using, let's pick a card for each sign of the zodiac to see what June is bringing for all of us knitters. So is fit sign. First up, Aries. Oh. Starting off strong with the Death card. Aries, you are finishing things, putting an end to projects, making so much room to cast on new projects this fall and winter season. One of the best things about getting the Death card in a knitting reading is you are going to reap the rewards of finishing things. So like all those sweaters and socks and shawls, you can actually wear them instead of just working on them and looking at them. Get all the benefit of all that hard work. Be proud of all the things you're finishing, and don't forget to reflect on how far you come and all the lessons you learned on these projects as you finish them. And next we have Taurus. And for you, we have the 4 of Swords. This is a Marseille deck, and in these cases, the pip cards or the number cards are usually a lot more simple. However, I do love that these cards, while there is just 4 swords here, each one is unique. And I love the vintage feel of this deck overall, which was part of what drew me to it initially. Taurus, you don't have to be in a hurry. Take a nice break. A little bit of a rest from a project is no problem. Maybe something needs to go in timeout. Maybe you just want to enjoy the summer and give your hands a break and be out doing stuff with kids, dogs, parents, family, whatever. You just want to be doing things and not necessarily knitting. So it's okay if you want to give this craft a break so that when you come back to it, you can feel enthused, re-inspired, and really want to be in the moment with it. No need to push yourself into knitting this month if you don't want to. Okay, Gemini, for you we have... Oh, it's the 9 of Pentacles. And in this deck, the Pentacles are like an Ouroboros, the dragon eating its own tail. I like this as the circular shape that is typically involved with discs or pentacles or whatever this suit ends up being, this round suit. And so Gemini, here I'm really seeing a celebration of how far you've come. You're almost at the finish line on so many projects. And so any one that you decide this month to put time towards will just magically come together and be like, boop, done, boop, done. This is a season for finishing for a lot of our signs, it seems so far. I also see this as a sign that if you can be knitting outdoors or enjoying the outdoors this month, you'll find great rewards in that as well. Next up, we have Cancer. And for Cancer, we have the 10 of Pentacles. Interesting. So Cancer, where Gemini is just about to finish, you are in a finishing cycle. So the trend continues. Things that you finish this month will come through in divine order. If you're selling things, maybe you're a maker that is into commerce, you'll find that these items are going to sell well, and maybe anything that you're selling this month in particular is going to have a great turnout. People are noticing you and they want to be involved in things that you're excited about, including supporting your work. So don't be afraid to put yourself out there if you're a Cancer who's selling things, or if you can just be enjoying knitting, surrounded by friends and family, you're going to find that those are going to be some very charmed projects. This is also the month to remember to keep social knitting projects on hand and things that are easy to travel with. You could be quite popular this month. For Leo, we have the Devil. I could see this being taken a couple of different ways. On one hand, you may find that there's a pattern you're working on that feels addictive. You just can't stop working on it. So you could see this one quickly come to an end and end up wearing it right away. However, this also could indicate that maybe you're working on a project that includes a skill that's frustrating and it's really starting to get you down. Remember, you can put that project in timeout at any point. You do not have to be beholden to your knitting. Work on something totally different, and I think you'll find more inspiration coming because of that. Virgo, for you, we have the 10 of Wands. I love the different variations on the wands of this card. They almost look like really rustic knitting needles. The 10 of Wands can sometimes indicate overwhelm, like maybe we have too many projects going on all at once. Don't try to do them all this month, Virgo. Write down a list of things that you want to get done, prioritize the ones that are the most important, and then remember, knitting is supposed to be fun, and so this could be our reminder as a fellow Virgo, that if we are overburdening ourselves with the things we enjoy doing, we may not enjoy them anymore. So take a breath, take a moment this month to review the items that are in your queue and decide where you really want to put your priorities this month. And I think you'll be much less resentful on what you're knitting because of it. And let's face it, who wants to be resentful while we're knitting? That's not fun. Libra, for you, we have the 4 of Wands. This is the month to honor your achievements. Look at how far you've come in your knitting. You've gone from learning how to cast on, struggling with stockinette stitch, to now knowing how to do cables and color work with ease. Or if you're not there yet, trust me, with practice, you will be. The key is giving yourself grace as you learn, and you do that by reminding yourself at how much work you've put in to get to where you are at this point. Surround yourself with fellow knitting friends this month to reflect on how far you've all come. Pull out some old projects and impress yourself with how much you even knew back then. Every project we knit teaches us something new. It's never a wasted effort, even if you're tinking more than you're knitting. Libra, you may also find that you are knitting for a new arrival in the family. And if that Libra is you, leave a comment. Next up, we have Scorpio, and it's the 7 of Pentacles. You're just working on projects that you already have in the works. You'll get much more productive, and you'll be able to cast on a new project sooner without the guilt. It's a month of enjoying the process, so maybe a little knitting meditation would also help with that. Sagittarius, for you we have, wow, the 10 of Swords. So really, this is a whole season of finishing, at least for most of us. The Ten of Swords is also not necessarily always seen as something that is positive. However, you can always cut your way out of any situation that gets sticky when it comes to swords. And usually that just comes with a mindset change. I say just like it's just that easy. This could just be a sign to slow down, re-look at everything you're working on, and again, reevaluate. Do you even want to be working on them? Maybe this is the month where you could exercise your right to rip out projects and totally remove them from your life. Sometimes the finishing process is just committing not to work on it anymore so you can put your time towards other things you want to do more. And that's the sort of ending I see with this card, one that you have to choose to do. Choose to feel less frustrated this month. Pulling things out can be very freeing, and with the solstice coming right up on our tail in a couple of weeks, this could be the month to really clear things out, to let new things come in. Okay, Capricorn, for you we have, okay, this one took me a minute. Sometimes I still have to give myself a second to be like, what am I looking at? Because I thought, oh, is this the High Priestess? No, it's the Queen of Swords. You can see she's got a sword going through her head. This card could really indicate that you are going to be on the leading edge of your friends and family in terms of being the strong, inspiring person when it comes to knitting. What skill do you want to share with people? This card could indicate that perhaps you are going to be teaching skills and passions that you love to others who are interested in learning from you. You're mastering new skills, you're inspiring others, and maybe you're even teaching people now that you know this skill. Embrace your confidence in your craft this month. And if you want to flaunt it, do it. You are the queen after all. Okay, Aquarius, for you we have the Five of Cups. Don't let regret ruin your month. If you missed out on a sale or some sort of deal, or maybe you have to pull out a project because you had a learning opportunity, this is the month that you're really going to want to give yourself some grace and try to look on the bright side of things. If you have to pull out a project because something went wrong, well, I bet you've learned enough to probably not make that mistake again. Mindset is going to be your most helpful tool this June. It allows you to remember that things can be learning opportunities to help you not do them again, even if it sucks in the moment that it's happening. So Aquarius, if you find that you're learning a lot this month, give yourself a little grace and remember, you won't do it again. And finally, for Pisces, we have the Queen of Wands. Knitting is really going to light you up this month. Anything you work on is just going to bloom right out of your hands. And people around you are going to notice how excited you are about what you're working on. You may find that more people come up to you if you're knitting in public. Or maybe you're going to be inspiring your knitting friends to start a whole new pattern with you. Following your passion this month, Pisces, is where it's at. And if you can do it out in nature, all the better. I hope you enjoyed this month's horoscope for knitters. If this resonates with you, please let me know during the month in the comments. I've been using the Lost Code of the Tarot deck by Andrea Asti, and I'm sorry if I'm mispronouncing that. I took Japanese instead of Italian. While this deck doesn't seem to be in production anymore, I will at least link the website that has all the information about it if you want to learn more. And if this deck has been on your wish list and you'd like to see more, let me know and maybe I'll do a special edition where I just go through these cards. I hope this reading helps you have an amazing solstice month. Thanks so much to all my subscribers and viewers for your continued support. And remember, you can support my work for free just by hitting the subscribe button. Thanks again for tuning in. Merry Make.